Welcome back. Day 2 of trade negotiations between the U.S. and China happening this morning in Madrid, Spain. Both countries looking to narrow their differences on tariffs, technology, and TikTok. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is leading the American delegation across from his Chinese counterpart. And of course, trade tensions have escalated this year when tariffs reached triple digits between D.C. and Beijing. The president initially putting on a 145% tariff. He is threatening now, once again, 50 to 100% duties on Beijing, accusing China of helping to fund Russia's war in Ukraine while buying Russian oil. China's foreign minister is hitting back, stating that China does not participate in or plan wars, but it only, quote, encourages peace talks. Trade talks will continue through Wednesday and could lay the groundwork for a meeting between President Trump and Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the APEC summit next month. Joining me now is the Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow, Gordon Chang. Gordon, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What is your reaction so far to these conversations in Madrid?
Good morning, Maria. So far, China has been bringing the heat, and the response from the Trump administration has, for the most part, been limited to words. So, for instance, today, China's State Administration for Market Regulation found that NVIDIA broke China's anti-monopoly law with regard to its acquisition of Mellanox in 2020. And then just before that, we had the announcement of the anti-dumping probe into American chip makers. Right now, Beijing is just bringing everything possible to hit the United States. So I think we need to hit back, because if we don't, we're just feeding into this Chinese narrative that they own us.
Yeah, I mean, look, now TikTok, I guess, is part of these talks as well. It's a sticking point with TikTok facing a Wednesday deadline to divest U.S. operations or face a ban in America. The president already has delayed this ban 3 times. Here's the president when asked if that deadline could be extended again. Watch.
May or may not. They're negotiating TikTok right now. We may let it die, or we may, I don't know, it depends. Up to China. It doesn't matter too much. I'd like to do it for the kids that like it.
What do you think, Gordon? How much should this be part of the talks, and what's your take on this?
Well, first of all, the president of the United States shouldn't say it depends on China. It depends on the president of the United States. And China was really bold by demanding that TikTok be included in the trade talks, or the talks wouldn't continue. That's at least according to reports. And that means what China is basically saying is that they demand the right to steal more of our data as a condition for these discussions in Madrid. That's incredibly brazen, and we need to stop putting up with this.
What do you make of where we are now on this trade? Liz, jump in here. You've got obviously issues over chips, issues over rare earth minerals, and now TikTok also part of this.
Well, I think it's interesting, Gordon, that the Chinese economy slowed markedly in August, much more than expected. And certainly some of that has to do with the fact that exports to the United States are down. I know that exports elsewhere are increasing and offsetting some of that, but it looks like they've sort of pumped a lot of stuff into their supply chains to do that. The question is, you have said that Xi is under pressure. If indeed the economy, unemployment is up, industrial production is down, et cetera, if that continues, doesn't that make these trade talks really important for President Xi? Don't we have some leverage? I keep looking for the moment where the United States can say, hey, this is the way it's going to be, kind of like what you're suggesting.
Yes, I mean, we saw the price data for August, which confirmed that China's deflation is deepening. Consumer product prices are down. Producer prices are down. When you're in deflation, it means your economy's in trouble. And President Trump needs to start talking about that in public and telling the Chinese that this is the way it's going to be. Because, Liz, you're absolutely right about that. We have the leverage right now. China has never been more trade dependent in its history. We account for 35% of global consumer spending. We're the trade deficit country. Last year, the merchandise trade deficit was $295.4 billion. So, yeah, we got the high cards, but we're not playing them as the way we should.
Well, you've also got this breaking news this morning, Gordon. China claims that NVIDIA violated its anti-monopoly laws over a 2020 acquisition of networking equipment maker Mellanox Technologies. According to a preliminary probe, the stock is down this morning. China launching 2 more investigations into U.S. chips over the weekend, accusing America of dumping and discriminating in the sector. Really, what hypocrisy with China dumping so many products cheaper than American products for decades.
The U.S. response should be good. We'll make it easy for China's market regulators. We just won't sell you any chips at all. Take that, China. I mean, they're dependent on NVIDIA chips. They're dependent on our other chips. This is the issue of AI. Whoever is going to be first in AI is going to dominate the global economy in this century. And they need our chips to compete with us. So why are we supplying them?
Yeah, it's an important point. I mean, look, you've got so much Chinese aggression, and once again in the South China Sea, Gordon, the military is accusing the Philippines of provoking incidents and escalating tensions in this disputed body of water. China claims it's Chinese water. This is the South China Sea. Any attempt to stir up trouble, they claim, will not succeed. The U.S., the Philippines, and Japan conducted joint naval exercises in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone over the weekend to strengthen regional cooperation and support a free Indo-Pacific region. China claims it's approving a nature reserve in the Scarborough Shoal, one of the most hotly contested areas in the South China Sea. And the Philippines is calling it a pretext to eventual occupation, Gordon.
Yes, well, Scarborough Shoal is a critical feature. The United States for 13 years has given way to China. This is a feature which is about 124 nautical miles from the main Philippine island of Luzon. It's strategic because it guards the mouths to Subic and Manila Bays. It is about 4 times further from China than it is from the Philippines, and it's recognized as part of the Philippines. And yet this nature reserve is an assertion of sovereignty. Now, it's great that Secretary of State Rubio declared on Friday that the United States stood with the Philippines on this nature reserve issue. But we need to do more than just these general military exercises. We need to continue to reinforce the area around Scarborough Shoal to show the Chinese we're not afraid of them. We've been showing the Chinese that we're afraid of them for all of this time, and all the Chinese have done is they haven't reciprocated. What they have done is they've ramped up the pressure, not only at Scarborough, but other places throughout the South China and East China Seas. This is a very dangerous dynamic, Maria.
I mean, the president has really been strengthening relations with the neighbors of China for this very reason, Gordon. Is that the right tack? Should the president be doing anything more other than, as you're saying, stay tough?
Yeah, well, President Trump deserves a lot of credit for developing the relations with Japan and the Philippines and other countries in the region. But at some point, the United States needs to use the Navy and the Air Force to show that we have the resolve. You know, words are great, but sometimes you have to back those words up. And yes, Maria, every course of action for the United States is extremely dangerous, but that's the result of misguided policies over the course of this century. We have backed ourselves into a very bad place.
Yeah, particularly since all of the reliance on the supply chain out of China is still in place. Gordon, great to see you. Thank you, sir. Gordon Chang, stay with us. We'll be right back.